This is the Class A CDL pre-trip for the state of Indiana. We're going to start with our lenses. We have our clearance lights up top. We have our headlights in front and our turning signals. Our clearance lights, proper mounted and secure. They're not cracked or bent or broken. They're not missing. They work properly, and they're the proper color of amber. My headlights are proper mounted and secure, not cracked or bent or broken. They're the proper color. Turning signals are the proper color of amber. They work properly. They're also not missing. My trunk is not leaning to the left or the right, indicating a problem with my suspension. And there's no puddles under my engine compartment, making sure there's no leaks coming from my engine. I have my fluids, I have my coolant reservoir, I have my power steering reservoir, and I have my oil. They're all properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. They're not leaking. The caps are all present and tight, and they're all filled between the add and the full line. Here's my dipstick where I would check my oil. This is my power steering hose coming down to my gearbox. It's properly mounted and secure. There's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. My gearbox is properly mounted and secure. It's not cracked or bent or broken. My pitman arm, my drag link, my steering knuckle, and my tie rod are all properly mounted and secure, not cracked or bent or broken. The castle nuts and the cotter pins are in place, and the joints are not cracked or worn. I have my shock absorber is properly mounted and secure at the top and the bottom. It's not cracked or broken or leaking. I have my front and my rear spring mount and my center leaf springs. They're all properly mounted and secure, not cracked or bent or broken, and my leaf springs have not shifted from front to back. I have my drums and my liners properly mounted and secure, not cracked or bent or broken. There's no contaminants like oil or grease to stop me from stopping, and my pads are not worn dangerously thin. My brake hose and my brake line properly mounted and secure, not cracked or bent or broken. There's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. I have my tire. My tire is not cut. There's no flat spots. It's evenly worn, and I would use a depth gauge checker to check the depth to make sure that the front tire, steer tire, is no less than 4/32 of tread depth, and the rest of my tires are no less than 2/32 of tread depth. My rim is properly mounted and secure. It's not cracked or broken. There's no illegal welds on my rim. My valve stem is accessible. The cap is present and tight. I would also use an air pressure checker to make sure that the wheel is filled to the proper levels of 100 psi. My lug nuts and my studs are all present. There's none missing. They're not cracked or bent or broken. There's no rust trails, and there's no shiny threads. And my bolt holes on my rim are not out of round. I have my side cap light, I have my clearance light, and I also have my side marker light on my trailer. All my lenses and lights are properly mounted and secure, not cracked or bent or broken. They're the proper color of amber, they're working properly, and there's none missing. My traffic monitoring devices are all properly mounted and secure to the tractor, not cracked or bent or broken. My battery box is properly mounted and secure, it's not cracked or broken. My battery is properly mounted and secure. My battery wires are not loose, they're tight. There's no excess corrosion, and the wires are not worn. The battery is also not leaking. My DEF tank is properly mounted and secure, and the cap is present and tight. My fuel tanks, both of them are properly mounted and secure. They're not cracked or bent or broken. They're not leaking, and the cap is present and tight. My electric hose and my air hoses are properly mounted and secure from the back of my tractor to the front of my trailer. There's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks on my air hoses, and they're coupled properly. And there's no tape, no splices, and no chafing on my electric line, and it is secured in the electric box with the safety latch in place. The wires are suspended high enough to where they're not dragging on my framing cross members or on the ground. My frame and cross members are properly mounted and secure. They're not cracked or bent or broken, and there are no illegal welds. My DOT reflective tape is clean and in good condition all the way around the trailer. My apron is properly mounted and secure, and there's no damage to where I can see. There's no space in between my fifth wheel and my apron. My fifth wheel skid plate is properly mounted and secure. It's not cracked or bent or broken. It is properly greased and it tilts freely. My release arm is securely locked in place. My locking jaws are securely locked around the kingpin, and the kingpin is properly mounted and secure, not cracked or bent or broken. My locking pins are securely locked in place, and my fifth wheel skid plate is positioned to where there is enough room in between my tractor frame and my trailer landing gear internals. My frame and my cross members of my trailer are properly mounted and secure, not cracked or bent or broken. There's no illegal welds, and there's no holes in the floor to where I can see. My landing gear is properly mounted and secure. It's not cracked or bent or broken. It is raised all the way up, and the crank handle is in its holder. My pads are not cracked or broken or missing. My tandem release arm and my tandem locking pins are both locked in place. They're properly mounted and secure, not cracked or bent or broken. I have all my lights in the back of my trailer. They're all properly mounted and secure, not cracked or bent or broken. They're the proper color of red. They're not missing, and they all work properly. I would inspect the right side of my tractor the same way I inspected the left side of my tractor. And it's up to you to say, will you help me inspect my lights? This is your CDL Class A in-class manual pre-trip. First things first, I want to check my seat belt, make sure that it's not worn or torn or frayed. It latches and it unlatches properly. I want to make sure that I have my fire extinguishers properly mounted and secured to the floor. It's properly charged and rated. I have my 3 red reflective triangles, and I have my 3 to 6 spare fuses in the glove compartment. I'm going to do my safe start by making sure that this is in neutral, making sure that my brakes are pulled out, and I'm going to turn the truck on without starting it, looking for my ABS and my oil light. My ABS and my oil light has gone off. Press the clutch down, start the truck, and I want to make sure it's in neutral one more time before I take my foot off the clutch. I'm going to start with my traffic monitor devices. They're properly mounted and secure, not cracked or broken, and they're adjusted to me. I have my windshield is properly mounted and secure. It's not cracked or broken. There's no illegal stickers, and there's no obstructions blocking my view. Come down my windshield, I have my windshield wipers. They work properly. They're not damaged, they're worn or torn, and the washer fluid works properly. Down lower, I have my defrost. It works properly. And I also have my heat. That also works properly. Come over my dashboard, I have my DEF tank. It's no less than 1/8 of a tank. I have my right, left, 4-way flashers, and my high beams. All the indicators work properly. Last thing is my city horn and my air horn. They're all working properly. Now I'm going to do my tug test. First, I'm going to check my trailer brakes and my coupling to make sure that I'm coupled properly. Put my truck into a low gear. I'm going to release my parking brake. I'm going to release my clutch to tug forward twice to make sure that it's working properly. 1, 2. My trailer brakes are working properly. Now I'm going to do the same thing to make sure that my parking brakes are working properly. I'm releasing my clutch, releasing my trailer brakes, giving it 2 tugs. My parking brakes are working properly. Now I'm going to simulate, but not demonstrate, my service brake check. First, I will put my truck into a low gear. Secondly, I'll release both my brakes. Thirdly, I would accelerate up to 5 miles an hour with a light grip on my steering wheel. Fourthly, once I get up to 5 miles an hour, I press my clutch down and firmly press on my brake to make sure that my truck doesn't pull to the right or to the left, indicating a problem with my brakes. Then I'll put it back in neutral, pull my brakes out, and that's the end of my in-cab inspection. Now I'm going to go into my 3-point air brake inspection. First, I would fan my brakes down to 90 psi at the examiner's request. I'm going to build my air pressure up between 120 and 140 psi until I hear the sound of my governor cutting off. Making sure that I don't go above 14 RPM. Governor cuts off, you have to tell the examiner that it cut off somewhere before 140 psi. My governor cut off at 135 psi. Now, in the manual, I'll press my clutch down, put it into a low gear. I'll turn my truck off, then back to the on position without starting it, and I'll release my brakes. Now, once the air has calmed down, I'll let my examiner know I'm going to press my brake down for 1 minute to make sure that I don't lose more than 4 psi in that time. Ask him, will you time me? He'll say yes. Hold your brake down firmly. After your 1 minute, he'll tell you you're okay. Say, I did not lose more than 4 psi in that time. Now, I'm going to fan my brakes down to before 55 psi to make sure that my low air warning light or my low air warning buzzer comes on. My low air warning light and buzzer has come on. Notice that I didn't take my foot off the brake. I'm firmly holding it. Now I'm going to continue to fan my brakes down to between 20 and 45 psi to make sure that my valves pop out. My valves have popped out. That's the end of my 3-point air brake inspection. May I do a safe start?